Corrupt with petrol. I prepare it with not a lot of corruption with petrol. I see them for hotel, I see them for market. And if you see them, you go know.
They say you get where them, then they embalm themselves, but me, I never go to that kind of place before.
Let's discuss the headlines and politics.
Going by the Senate Standing Orders of 2011 as amended, which is the genuine and authentic because it has never. I need protection. Will you shut up?
Get involved. Air your opinions. In this republic, we don't turn off your mic. Join us on Bright Republic, weekdays,
8 a.m. Good morning to you and welcome to Bright Republic right here on the blazing voice of talk, information plus entertainment. 4 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock and it's time for us to go through some of the headlines on the front covers of the dailies. My name is Simeon Sunday and of course we'll be going through some of the top stories. There is outrage and opera in the country lately because of the development that has to do with the All Progressive Congress. And also, according to reports still on the headlines, the PDP has finally closed the sale of a nomination form, and 17 PDP presidential aspirants has finally beaten the deadline, and that is also one of the developments we'll be discussing this morning right here on Bright Republic. Of course, I got Temitope Elegushi right here. Good morning, Temitope. Okay, so quickly before we introduce our guest, because we will be having a guest today on Bright Republic as well, we'll be joining the conversation and talking about the state of the nation. Let's go through some of the trending headlines which you can actually participate in. Remember, the studio lines are open, especially the WhatsApp and text numbers. The phone lines are not officially open at this time. It will be officially open at 9 o'clock on the dot, where you can call in and participate in whatever conversation we'll be having this morning. But you can start sending in your messages via WhatsApp or text, or go straight to our live stream on Facebook and drop your comments there. The number on WhatsApp via and also text is 07033728313. 07033728313, and you can join the stream live on Facebook at Bright FM Abuja. Go there, drop your comment as well. So let's start with the controversy of the day, which has been replicated on major headlines this morning, and this one we are calling it from the Punch newspaper, and the headline says presidential primary, APC silent on zoning. Nigerians condemn 100 million naira nomination fee, says it will encourage corruption. The All Progressive Congress says it will begin its sale of presidential, governorship, national and state assembly forms on Saturday. The APC, which revealed this after its 11th National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, failed to disclose if it will be zoning its presidential ticket or not, thereby leaving its forms open for all to buy. However, its high nomination fees for aspirants generated angry reactions from our Nigerians, with many of them saying they were symptomatic of the corrupt APC government. The APC pegged its expression of interest in nomination forms for the presidential ticket at 100 million naira. And the party's National Publicity Secretary Felix Moka disclosed this shortly after the 11th NEC meeting of the APC. And according to Moka, the presidential nomination form will be sold for 70 million naira, while expression of interest form will go for 30 million naira, making it 100 million naira for presidential ticket. And he also revealed the House of Assembly expression of interest form will be for 500,000, while the nomination form goes for 1.5 million and making it 2 million naira for House of Assembly. And the nomination form for House of Reps would sell for 9 million, while the expression of interest will be 1 million, making it 10 million naira and in total. And senatorial aspirants will actually purchase the expression of interest form for 3 million naira each, and nomination forms at 17 million naira each, making it 20 million naira. And then the governorship aspirants will have to cut, part away with 10 million for expression of interest and 40 million for the nomination form, making it 50 million naira in total. And the national women leader of the APC, Betta Edward, said women would get free forms. However, she said women were only entitled to free nomination forms, but would pay for the expression of interest forms at every level. And he also revealed that youth, whom he defined as individuals at the age of 40 and below, will purchase the expression of interest forms, but with a 40% discount on the nomination form fees for each position. And since this statement was actually revealed by the APC, there has been several reactions by media pundits as well as Nigerians since these developments happened, and even some APC members, aspirants, are actually crying out. And one of such persons is Adamu Garba, who actually reacted to the expression of interest forms being pegged at that amount for presidential ticket. Remember, a couple of days ago at the Katampe Hill in Abuja, Adamu Garba, in an artistic manner, expressed his interest to contest for the position of the president in 2023. And now, looking at this statement made by the APC and the sale of nomination form for the presidency pegged at 100 million naira, that is 70 million for nomination and 30 million for expression of interest, there have been several reactions. And for those who are familiar with what has been happening, you will actually see Adamu Garba taken to his social media platform, Twitter to be precise, to exclaim 100 million for the form. Wow. And Nigerians have been reacting to this, talking about his Kroyi app being one of the biggest startup in Nigeria. So 100 million naira shouldn't be a problem for him to raise. And we've seen several reactions from Nigerians since this an official statement was made by the APC. One of the social media handlers, Twitter user, actually said 100 million for presidential form, and students are at home because of ASU strike and all. This country is finished already. These are some of the reactions trailing the announcement by the APC of its presidential ticket going for 100 million naira that I'm reading for you right here. And this one also said EFCC should be ready to probe most APC presidential candidates that are public servants, because how will they get 100 million naira except they were looters? As sponsors, the usual storyline. They should tell us how they made charitable money in this economy. And also, one of the reactions by a verified Twitter handle said 100 million naira for APC's presidential ticket. More reason why these guys go towards any length to win elections. After winning, all they first care about is recouping their investment. Wow. And another social media handler said 100 million to buy one form. Tell me how the person buying this form will not take a loan to pay, and when they win, they will use government money to repay personal loan they took to buy nomination forms. So many reactions trailing this development by the APC. And someone actually made a statement, a handler by the name at John Vehe, his name is Alabi John, is saying President Buhari met nomination form at 27 million naira, naira and he influenced it to 100 million naira, he is a good president. And I see how a lot of people will always find an opportunity to bring President Buhari into the matter. As much as he is the national, some will call him a national leader of the APC, but the price of tickets will not be determined by him. So for those dragging the president into this particular matter, should please let the president be. And Temitope, seeing this, I've seen a lot of comment lately.
Have a say over the price of
so the president should be the one to tell them to peg the price at 100 million.
No, I'm not saying that he was the one that told them to peg the nomination form at 100 million, but there is no way that he wasn't aware before they put out this statement.
We all know that the president is not aware of most of the things that actually happen.
True, yeah, we never can blame
He's usually not aware.
Yeah, but the truth is 100 million for nomination form, Simeon, is a lot of money. Like the politics business is now becoming more of a business to the APC, because pegging that nomination form, even for people that have interests that do not have up to 100 million, where do they get that money from? It's not, at this point, I don't think it's even encouraging any youth that has this aspiration to maybe run under the flag of the APC to actually contest, because 100 million, and there is a part I saw that there is 40% discount for youth.
Yes.
40% out of 100 million is still a lot of money.
No, it's not 40% out of 100 million. You're not paying 40% of the 100 million. What you're paying for is 40% of the nomination form and not the expression of interest. You have to pay the full amount for expression of interest form, which is 30 million naira. And then they give you 40% of the 70 million naira. And you do the mathematics, that should be about 32 million naira. So you're paying 72 million naira for nomination.
It is still, I don't know what these people were thinking when they actually pegged the nomination form at 100 million, but it's actually it is outrageous.
Now let's look at it from this point of view as well. We've heard this, we've seen the caliber of individuals who have actually indicated interest to be the president of the country from the APC. Some are of the opinion, especially political analysts and pundits, are of the opinion that at this time, where a lot of people, some whom Nigerians have even called of laughable character, have indicated interest to be the president under the APC. This is why the APC had to peg their ticket at that particular amount so as to sieve the chaff from the grain, because at this point it seems like the position of the president is now a child's play position where every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to be the president of the country. You have seen some people who actually, some even went to Katampe Hill to go and tell us that they are sitting at the middle of the FCT of Nigeria and all of that. So some are saying there is a possibility that this is the reason why the forms are pegged at this particular amount, so we can see some of them humbly bow out of the
How
race,
do they
and whoever
know?
has the money can
Wait,
actually
how
go
do
ahead.
they know the shaft? How do they intend to sieve it this way when they're saying that pegging it at 100? No, it doesn't make any sense.
The truth is, let me tell you, every political party know the people within a structure, and they know the people who cannot even purchase form, and some of the people who have actually aspired to be the president of the country, because of the amount, they cannot even afford it.
But when we look at all of these aspirants that's declared under the APC, they are working for the government at the moment, and there is 100% possibility that most of them are going to fund their ambition through the use of government funds.
No, they will not. They will, the good Nigerians will purchase the form for them. That has always been the case.
Let us see how this pans out, because I can categorically tell you that after this primaries, I'm sure that EFCC will actually be looking for a lot of them, because they
in the
actually
APC.
Yes, in the APC. Yes, they'll be looking for them because they are going to actually use. Why is it that some of these ministers or ministers have actually not resigned yet? Why is Amechi still? He has declared his ambition, but he's still.
Are you saying they know that the forms were pegged at this particular amount? And is that what you are saying?
Yes, they know.
And that is why they've decided to stay.
Yes, so that they can use our money to actually push their ambition.
But these are just narratives that somewhere, these are just what we hear on the social space. But let's not believe everything. There is a possibility some of these men have the money to fund their 100 million naira ticket. But we've seen, it won't be shocking if in a couple of days we actually see groups actually come to purchase form on behalf of people. So now, even if the EFCC is to probe, how will you probe a group of people who come together to purchase a form for a candidate? It's not feasible. Let's be realistic with this. We know how the politics of this country is, and some are even saying that at this point, some aspirants are crying out that this is a way of the party, pushing their ambition aside because they want to give it to the highest bidder. There are people within the structure of the party that can comfortably play this money without feeling the hits, and there are people who cannot. And we know some of them, whose name we will not mention here anyway. Away from that, let's move on to another headline. And on this one, it's on the Port newspaper. It says MNJTF kills 27 terrorists. Buhari insists insurgency, not religious. Troops of the multinational Joint Task Force has said it neutralized 27 Islamic State in West Africa province terrorists in collaboration with Air Task Force. It also said 6 traumatized females held hostage by the terrorists were rescued during a clearance operation. The chief of military public information headquarters, Colonel Mohammed Dole, in a statement on Wednesday, said 1 soldier died during the operation. And the statement read, the ATF identified intelligence-driven targets which they engaged using multiple sorties in the vicinity of Tumbun Fulani and Tumbun Virago, where about 20 terrorists were neutralized. And now looking at this, it seems like the multinational Joint Task Force are beginning to live up to their responsibility. Every time on this platform, we've always clamored for the security of lives and property of Nigerians. And now hearing this news that the MNJTF have actually neutralized 27 terrorists, and even the president have actually insisted in a statement that this fight, the terrorists, this is not even a matter of religion, and we should join hands together and defeat these people. So some would say this is great news. The president is doing all he can. He's actually trying to boost the morale of the military, as long as the Joint Task Force, in ensuring they live up to their responsibility of safeguarding the sovereignty of this country, as well as protecting the lives and property of Nigerians.
For me, this is not a new development. This is something they should have done before now. But it's actually very impressive that we are saying that our military personnel are actually living up to the expectation of fighting terrorists. Because the duty of every government is to actually protect lives and properties of its citizens. So we should, this kind of development or this kind of thing, the fight against insecurity, should actually be something that is on each and every one of us mind, even as citizens and even as security agencies. So we should see more in the coming days so as to end the crisis of insecurity in the country.
Okay, so away from that, quickly let's move on to Daily Trust, and this one has to do with the development in Anambra State. And on Daily Trust, it says gunmen storm Anambra police station, set patrol vans on fire. Gunmen storm Anambra police station, set patrol vans on fire. Gunmen have attacked Anaku divisional headquarters in Anyamelum, a local government area of Anambra State. And Daily Trust gathered that the gunmen stormed the station in the early hours of Wednesday. 3 operational vehicles of the police were touched in the incident. And the spokesman of Anambra Police Command, DSP Ikenga Tochukwu, said the police repelled the attack. He said the operatives are more firm and courageous following the successful repel of an attack in the early hours of today, which was yesterday, 20th of April 2022, at Anaku Divisional Headquarters. He also said in a bid to escape, the attackers threw bonfires inside the station, and it affected 3 of the police operational vehicles. The police spokesman noted that there was no casualty on part of the police, adding that all police arms were intact. He further stated that the police reinforcement team had been drafted to the area and operation was still ongoing. And 4 policemen were shot dead in an attack on the police last week. So looking at this, Anambra is now the haven for gunmen, and some call them unknown gunmen and bandits attack in the recent time. Just last week, there were reports that about 4 police officers were killed in Anambra State. And now this particular development, and now looking at how the modus operandi of this gunmen and how they operate lately, they are attacking critical security outfits. They are attacking police station, attacking police officers, and all all of that. They've caused a lot of unrest in the southeastern part of the country. This has been the news. Even a few persons who actually listen to us from the southeastern state have actually reported that the sit-at-home order has been on. Even on weekdays, they cannot go about their usual duties because of the fear of an attack from this unknown gunman. And now the question is, what are the governors in this state doing? What are the security operatives doing to protect their own infrastructure, their facilities, so we don't see attacks like this happen in Anambra, to be precise, as well as Imo State?
The issue of this unknown gunmen is actually something that we've always discussed on this platform, and we've always preferred solution that the state governors are actually the chief security officers of their state. They shouldn't wait. We've said it. They shouldn't wait for the federal government to always prefer solution to their problems. Let them do something about it. Let them begin an investigation. Let them dialogue with probably the local vigilantes in this area, because we are saying unknown. These people are human beings. They are living beings, and they have faces, they have names. In a whole of the community, there's no way that people around that community would not know the people that are causing this havoc in Anambra State. So it is time to actually have a dialogue either with the chiefs of those communities, the vigilantes, the villagers, people in that community. Let them have a dialogue with the security agencies, with the state governor, just so as to keep the lives and properties of people safe in that particular region. The killings of these unknown gunmen is getting too much. We don't even know they are terrorists, because how would you just wake up one morning and decide to kill your own fellow human being? So it is time we give a face to these unknown gunmen. We are tired of saying unknown. Who are they? And I'm 100% sure they are Nigerians. They are human beings like you and I. So it's high time we'll give a face to each and every one of them that are causing this havoc. And the only way to do that is to actually dialogue with the security the agencies and the people living in that communities.
Okay, away from that, let's move on to the development on the Guardian newspaper. And it seems like there is a rain of defection, or a flood of defection sweeping through the APC lately. As on the Guardian, it's reported that Buhari's Katsina North Senator leaves APC to PDP. Buhari's Katsina North Senator leaves APC for PDP. Senator Ahmed Keita, representing President Muhammadu Buhari's Katsina North, has defected from the ruling All Progressive Congress to the People's Democratic Party. The senator explained that his defection was due to the gradual loss of credibility of Governor Aminu Masari's administration and his delay in conducting the local council election. And the statement, which was signed by his media advisor Abdul Kadir Lawal, also cited the refusal of the Masari-led administration to uphold the basic foundation of democracy and inability to address insecurity and poverty as other reasons for leaving the APC. And the lawmaker, looking at this particular development in Katsina State, and this is a senator of the president's the constituency where the president is from, defecting from the APC to the PDP, and I cited several issues that has to do with the structure of the party, as well as the ruler or the leader of the party in the state, talking about Masari, who is the governor of Katsina State, the style of leading the state, and all of that has been the reason for him leaving the APC for the People's Democratic Party. Now, looking at what is happening with the APC lately, we've seen a flood of defection sweeping through the political party lately, and aside this senator defecting to the PDP, we have also seen Yari, who actually defected from the APC to the PDP as well. And there have been reports that a lot of bigwigs in the APC will be defecting to the PDP in the coming days and months, and even after the primary elections of the party, which have been set for 30th of May till the 1st of June. Now, looking at this, the question is, what is happening with the structure of the APC? Defections is all we are listening and hearing at this point within the party.
Even as we approach we are already in the electioneering period, but the truth is, in the coming days, we'll be seeing a lot of defection. Politics is a game of interest. If you're in a political party and you feel that your interests are not being met, or they are not being achieved in that political party, you move. you cross carpet, you go to probably the one that you feel that okay, there is a greater opportunity for me. Politicians will not want to be in a political party where they feel that they cannot get one or two things or their interests cannot be met. So, and cross carpeting and defection is like a normal thing in the country. If it's not meeting your interest, you move to the next available political party that would probably have your interest at heart. So it's not for me, it's not a big issue. Would still be seeing more of defection from the PDP to the APC and from the APC to the PDP. It's just a game of interest.
Okay, politics is definitely a game of interest. It's time for us to take the last headline for this morning before we officially introduce our guest, who has been very vocal since the inception of this particular administration. If I mention his name, most of us who are on social media, especially the micro-blogging platform called Twitter, you will be familiar with that name. You would have actually come across a tweet or a post made by this particular person in your life. Somehow you would have seen it even on Instagram as well as Facebook. We'll be introducing our guest shortly, but before that, let's talk about this one on Guardian newspaper, where it is said Buhari running Nigeria aground, says Bishop Mogekwo. Buhari running Nigeria aground, says Bishop Mogekwo. The immediate past bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Asaba, Justice Mogekwo, has lampooned President Muhammadu Buhari for allegedly running the country aground in all ramifications. Mogekwo, in an exclusive interview with The Guardian in Asaba, said right from the onset, "I knew Buhari was not going to do well, even though people saw him as a truthful and integrity man that will take the country to the promised land." He said Buhari runs the affairs of the Nigeria like he was not fully prepared for the job, or he was still in the military era, or he could not differentiate between democratic rule and the military rule. Now, looking at this statement, where the cleric also said the president's philosophy for governing the country had crashed, and called on him to be honest enough to tell Nigerians he had misled them by listening to wrong advisors, thinking he was doing the right thing all along. And it seems like a lot of clerics are now coming out for this particular administration. The recent one was that of Bishop Kuka, who made a statement on Sunday, and we saw the presidency through Garba Shehu as well as Femi Adesina, lampooning Kuka, asking him to come join politics and leave his call as a cleric. And we also saw Bishop Kuka also respond to the presidency, saying they should come out for a debate, let them have a debate about this administration as well as the country and all of that. And now this is another the past bishop of Anglican Diocese of Asaba also giving credence to what Bishop Kuka has said, saying this administration has not done well when it comes to governance, and it seems like the president is not really aware that what he's doing is driving the country aground.
Okay, there is no way that the president would not be aware of what he is doing, but the bishop is actually also a Nigerian, and I think he has seen a lot of things that are happening, and he can hear the plight of Nigerians probably in his church and in his environment. So he's actually saying the right thing. In one way or the other, this current administration has affected people's life, our lives in one aspect or the other. So it wouldn't be wrong for the bishop to actually express his mind or what he feels about the administration. And like our guest said yesterday, there is still time for the president to actually redeem himself and write his name on gold. That was what our guest said yesterday. He still has time to actually change the narrative of people about how he has run the country and how did we even get here in the first place. So for me, the bishop is actually right in what he said about the administration.
Okay, it's time for us to go on a quick break. When we come back, we will officially be introducing our guests and we'll be getting into a conversation for today. Trust me, today's conversation will be really interesting because of the caliber of the guests we have in the studio right here. Stay here. This is Bright Republic. My name is Simeon Sunday. I'll be back in a GP after paying this bill. Stay with us.
Ladies
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the all-new high-definition TSTV, Africa's digital satellite television provider. With more than 100 channels covering every aspect of life, TSTV offers viewing pleasure at all times for all demographics. Catch world-class sports, music, movies, news, children's, educational, religious, documentary, reality TV channels, and so much more on TSTV. It's all in high definition. For as little as ₦2, you can watch what you want, when you want, on our special bouquets, a la carte, pay-as-you-go, and pay-per-view. Our TSTV rollout channels are available all over Nigeria and in most African countries. To be part of this viewing experience, pick up your TSTV decoders, accessories, and preloaded vouchers from our dealer shops nationwide at unbelievably affordable prices. For more information, download the TSTV app on Apple Store and Google Play Store. You can check out our website www.tstvafrica.com or hit us up at TSTV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or call 0990-40990. Telecom Satellite Television, TSTV, connecting your world.
A lot goes into becoming a broadcaster. It goes beyond the voice, the face, and the swag. It goes beyond the accent and workflow. Even academic qualification isn't enough. What then makes an exceptional broadcaster? Bright 98.7 FM presents Bright Media Academy, a 4-week exclusive radio training and mentorship program in basics of radio presentation and programming, newscasting, voiceover artistry, and lots more. For registration and inquiry, call us or send us a message on WhatsApp on 070-337-28313. Follow us on our social media handle at Bright FM 987. Bright Media Academy. Learn, grow, and earn.
When I finished my NYSC, I thought I was going to be retained. Here I am, 5 years down the line, and I have no job.
Oh God, 7 years in the university, another 7 years after NYSC. No job.
This is my small online business. He's trying to pay my bills small, low. But it's not really what I'm passionate about. I always dreamt of working in a corporate setting, but no jobs.
Who knew that a master's degree holder can be jobless for 3 years? Since I lost my last job, I've not been able to nail another employment. I feel so discouraged.
What if we told you you do not have to feel discouraged anymore? You can be the one who gets that next job you've been hoping for. You can be the one who gets that next invitation for a job interview you didn't even apply for. Wondering how? Tune into The Applicant with UC Royal on Bright 98.7 FM, weekdays at 3 p.m. Tell us why you think you are the best candidate for the job, and you just might be the person for the job. The Applicant on Bright 98.7 FM.
If you see Brazil, make a move.
I am here since 3 days ago. Like corruption can happen at anywhere.
Hey, corrupt with petrol. I prepare it with not a lot of corruption with petrol. I see them for hotel, I see them for market. And if you see them, you go know.
They say you get where them, then they embalm themselves, but me, I never go to that kind of place before.
Let's discuss the headlines and politics.
Going by the Senate Standing Orders of 2011 as amended, which is the genuine and authentic because it has never, and it protects. Will you shut up?
Get involved. Air your opinions. In this republic, we don't turn off your mic. Join us on Bright Republic, weekdays,
8 a.m. You're welcome back to Bright Republic, 8:34 on the clock, right here on the Blazing Voice of Talk, information plus entertainment, Bright 98.7. And of course, it's time for us to dig deep into the main conversation for today, as we have a guest right here seated in the studio. And for those who do not know him, it will be shocking for you not to come across that particular name, especially if you're a social media savvy person. His name is Prince Henry Shield is the head of Mission Leadership and Accountability Initiative, is also a public affairs analyst, and today we'll be talking about something very interesting. Good morning to you, Prince Henry Shield.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Great to have you. It's been a long time. I saw you.
Yeah, it is.
Great to see you on the show. First of all, before we get into our main conversation, let me start with what you actually put out on your social media page, because for those who have actually seen that name at Henry Shield, some actually call you some have said you're very tyrannical on social media.
Tyrannical?
Some have actually said you're very vocal and you're really opinionated. But thank God we have you here so you can actually disperse all the thoughts people have about you right here. So let's start with what you actually put up on your social media just yesterday. It was yesterday the news broke of the APC's nomination form being pegged at 100 million naira, and then you posted about 18 hours ago on your social media page on Twitter, to be precise, saying anyone who buys that APC presidential form for 100 million naira is not coming to work for the masses. He or she is coming to steal. And now we know that the amount that the APC has pegged for nomination tickets, 30 million for expression of interest and 70 million naira for the form itself. That's 100 million naira for the presidential ticket and 50 million for governorship. A lot of people have actually talked about this, that why will the APC do this? You made a statement right here, say anyone who will actually purchase this form, wherever the aspirant will be, the person is not here in the interest of the country, rather the person is here to loot the treasury of the country dry. Why would you make this particular statement?
Because it's actually the truth. Except you can show us someone who has in the past, who has a background of spending such huge amounts for people on charity or things that do not have to do with having access to public resources, right? For anyone to count 100 million naira to buy a form to become the president of Nigeria at a time like this, believe me sincerely, and that's just the form and the expression of interest form. We have not started talking about consultations, the money you pay to delegates, the money you spend around the country to campaign. You can't do this when dollar is almost 600 naira for a dollar. What exactly is your intention? People we have commercialized the electoral process. We have commercialized leadership. So what you're saying is a young teacher who has good intentions, or a driver or someone who has good intentions to be in leadership position in Nigeria cannot be allowed to come in because he or she hasn't gotten money. So leadership, according to the major political parties, and I'm not speaking about the APC, then I'm also bringing in the PDP here, leadership now means having money. Mm-hmm. So even if you're a good person, you're a counselor, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, but you don't have this sort of money, leadership door in Nigeria is closed against you. That's ridiculous. It's something we should be ashamed of. 100 million at a time like this to buy a form. 100 million does not mean that all the processes are involved. No, just to buy the form. In fact, to go buy the form alone, you have to fly into Abuja, you have to bring in your people, some bring in drummers and dancers. So what exactly are you saying? Someone who is a businessman or who has, I don't know, but for a man to spend 100 million to buy a form and spend maybe another 5 billion or 10 billion to run campaigns, he's not coming to give you and I good roads. It's not coming to give us good governance.
You know, Henry, we know that, politics in this climb is, some will call it's capital intensive, because you cannot even aspire to hold a position of a common councillor at the local level without spending huge millions of naira in either purchasing of forms as well as campaigning and all of that. So looking at this, because this is the crux of our conversation for today, and how the political structure of this country is, some will say in quotes, making the political structure of our country prone to corruption, especially because of the amount. Let's put this aside. We've seen the APC yesterday saying their forms will be out on Saturday. They will start sales of form. We've seen tens of people within the APC declare their intention. And now looking at the caliber of some of the individuals who have actually declared their intention, some are public servants. Some are individuals who are owning private business. Some are even normal private Nigerians who are going about their own business and all of that. Now, looking at this amount of money pegged as well, will this not give room for corruption in the country? Now, putting this aside with what the PDP has also done, the PDP have actually closed the sales of nomination form, and it's even in the news that the PDP actually raked in over 646 million naira in just sales of presidential forms alone. We're not talking about other offices that Senate, other people. We're not talking about the Senate. We're not talking about governorship, House of Reps, and all of that. We're talking about presidency alone. 17 aspirants actually bought tickets for the PDP. 646 million naira is what the party have gotten, almost 1 billion naira. And now looking at the APC as well, 100 million naira pegged at presidential tickets alone. And now in the coming days, we'll get to know those out of all the individuals who have declared their interest, who will purchase form. We know that in the coming days, we'll see even some public servants saying Nigerians actually came together to buy forms for them. Whereas we know, some of us know, they actually purchased the forms themselves. This has been the structure in the country. So does this not give room for corruption where individuals come into power because of the capital intensive nature of our politics, want to recode their money rather than giving Nigerians what they actually promised?
I think the political parties are the ones to be held liable here. When you force a man, because nobody will happily throw away 100 million naira to go buy a form, and 50 million naira for governorship, 20 million naira for Senate, 10 million naira thereabout for House of Reps. How much is the salary of a House of Rep member? You understand what I'm saying? So what we are doing this morning, we have a meeting for 11. We want to actually do some calculations. How much is the salary of a president? Or that is salary, official salary in 4 years. Okay? How much the emoluments? If we talk of the salary you receive from your first year to your fourth year, would it be up to 100 million naira? If it is not up to 100 million naira, what then is the, not just the rationale, what is the enticement to want to put in money in such a venture? What the political parties have done, and since yesterday it's been emotional for a lot of us. These people, after messing up the whole system, right? Messing up the whole system, they shut the political space against the members of the public who might actually have good intentions. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are not part of them, if you don't have 100 million naira in your account, you can buy the form. If you don't have 10 million naira, you can't go for House of Reps. Why should House of Reps cost even 1 million? House of Reps, why should it cost 1 million naira? Why can't a graduate who has good intentions pick up the form, get signatures from the constituency and run? Why should someone be paying 10 million for the form, not the campaigns, not the consultations? Why are we closing the political space against the members? Why are we making it exclusive to a few people, because it's not going to come down except there's a radical change in leadership of this country in the next few years. It's not going to come down. When Buhari was running in 2015, he bought for 25 million, right? Now, between 2015 and today is this is 2020, is going to 100 million. So by the time the next president comes in, and in the next 8 years, we might be buying presidential form for 200 million naira. We cannot, as a nation that is in their need of genuine leadership, a nation that is in their need of altruistic leadership, a leadership that is selfless, a leadership that does not have to say, how much have I invested in coming to this office, how much must I pay? A leadership that will not look at a transportation minister under whose watch a train was bombed, citizens were killed, some were abducted. Up to today, they are still missing. And you cannot query the minister. Why? Because he was the one who funded your campaign. We do not need such leadership. We are in a mess as a nation. As a country, we are in a mess. In fact, we are sitting on a time bomb. Because it's gotten to a stage where we no longer ask families if they are eating balanced diets anymore. No, leave 3 square meals. Balanced diets anymore. So we have gone from the level of Nigerians having balanced diet, eating egg, drinking milk. Have you gone to the market recently? Right? Now we have moved to, okay, are you even able to eat 3 square meals a day? People have moved to 2. Some have moved to 1 just in the afternoon. And in a situation like this, you have politicians throwing money around. ASUU is on strike. How much have they requested for? So when you buy a phone for 100 million in a nation where ASUU, in fact, the one that I see as a slap on the faces of 200 million Nigerians is the Minister of Labor, who is supposed to be in charge of negotiations. ASUU has been on strike for months. Our children are home. The minister just declared to also run for president. The Minister of Transportation, under whose watch the train was bombed, has also declared to run for office of the president. So you have governance in comatose, in suspension. Governance is totally now on suspension.
Because of ambition.
Because of ambition. And you are looking at it. The minister who could not handle ASUU, who could not handle ASUU matter, wants to go and buy a form of 100 million. I mean, it is only in Nigeria that we accept some certain provocations and then move on as a people, right? If it's in a Senate climb, this minister should have resigned. Forget even the electoral act that was just signed into law. Without even that electoral act that says a public officer, you need to resign before leave that on moral grounds. How do you, as a minister, families are mourning their dead, families are looking for their missing ones. This is a ministry or a sector under your leadership, under your watch, under your administration, and you are campaigning to be president. How? So what we have is a system that is skewed against the public. So what people will do, because in the last 8 years we've had more Yahoo boys spring up. By what we see on EFCC handles, we've had more people engage in fraud, in rituals. Everybody wants to make it. Why? Because we have broken every standard as a people, as a nation. Nobody wants to know your source. If somebody comes to buy a phone for 100 million, EFCC should query the person. But are we having that? Just yesterday, someone has already signed a check of 100 million naira for one of the aspirants in APC. Another, a senator, signed 200 million naira for one of the aspirants. 100 million for the form, 100 million naira to take care of the logistics for the setting up of the campaign. In a country like this, where is the EFCC?
And now let's look at what is playing out in the country. This leads me to the next question. The role of our anti-graft agency in all of this, because there have been words by Nigerians, even public analysts and political pundits, stating that this will breed corruption because the political structure of the parties pegging forms at certain amount. The PDP pegged their form at 35 million naira for nomination and then 5 million for expression of interest. And now the APC is 100 million. This is 60 million naira above what the PDP actually placed their forms, on at this particular moment. Let's ask this question at the moment. See, what is our anti-graft agency doing in ensuring that the rate of corruption within the political structures of our country are checked? Because looking at it, it seems like there is no laid down rule as to the amount. A lot of people will say, the government doesn't have, the local standard to actually determine for political parties how much their form should be pegged at. But looking at the structure, what can be done and what is the role of the anti-graft agency to ensure that corruption is checked at the party level? Because at the end of the day, whoever the party projects as the candidate is who Nigerians will actually get to vote for, because we do not operate independent candidacy at this particular moment. So what will anti-graft agency, the likes of the EFCCs, the ICPCs, do in ensuring that, one, they probe the channels from which those who actually are aspiring the source of their income? Some will say, why will you probe their income? We've seen the EFCC probe young men and women post their pictures on social media because they are driving this and all of that. But why can't these politicians, those who are aspiring, be genuinely probed by our anti-graft agencies to ensure that whatever they are doing is plain and the source of their money is not from the government coffers as well, especially for those who are appointees of the president?
We need to first ask ourselves some questions. When I said earlier that Nigeria was at a tipping point, sitting on a time bomb, I said it instructively, okay? The way we're going, we're pushing the masses to the wall. The last Senate, the 8th Senate, led by Bukola Saraki, actually came up with a bill to peg, cost of forms by political parties. The president refused to sign it. That's why we're having and they deliberately did it. That's why we have this, right? The anti-graft agencies, can we in all honesty say they are truly independent? They are not politically, I won't say motivated, but driven. Can we in all honesty say that? Because if we can, there are certain characters today that shouldn't be walking free. There are characters that have had petitions written against them, publicly published, right? And the anti-graft agencies aren't moving. They aren't doing anything about it. Now, you ask yourself, a few days ago, the president pardoned some convicted felons, and you want to ask what message that sends to the farmer in Zamfara, to the akara seller in Sokoto, to the wheelbarrow pusher in Kano, to the guy who does conductor job in Lagos, to the man who carries loads at bus stops in Onitsha. What message does the president's action convey to them? It just means still enough to join us. Because there are people in prison today who have not even been convicted, whose cases are not nowhere to even be found. Police no longer come, prosecution no longer come to court. But here you are, people that have been convicted for stealing billions have been pardoned by the president. This lie of trying to change the narrative that it was the Council of State. No, only the president has the prerogative to pardon any convicted person in Nigeria, right? Especially when it has to do with federal offenses. Now, when you do that, you are telling the small thief who steals 2,000 and is in prison, who steals a goat and is in jail, you're telling him to step up his game. Join us in stealing billions. When you steal billions, you can still sit with the big boys. That is the message that we are passing. We are destroying the fabrics of our nation. It doesn't have to be APC or PDP or ABGA. It doesn't matter what party is involved in this. We are not building a country. We are not. The whole system in the last 7.5 years has been built around one man. That is why if EFCC has to go and arrest somebody, there must be approval from the villa. Do you understand what I'm saying? The whole system, National Assembly cannot. They will tell you that whatever Buhari brings, we will pass it. Nigeria is not a nation that should be built around one particular individual. There's a reason why we have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. But what do we have today? Mention one bill that has emanated from Aso Rock, that has been turned down by the legislature. That is not how democracy works. Even if you're, according to what people say, rubber stamp, even at least sometimes try to have your own dignity, so that you are remembered tomorrow as the Senate that stood against the passage of so and so bill, the passage of so and so bill. The anti-graft agencies are not helping. I think I heard, I wasn't able to confirm before coming here, that the PDP consulted with the DSS and the EFCC to be at their secretariat and monitor the process of form purchase and the rest. I am not sure. I have not confirmed it, but that is actually the right process. For every payment that is made, the source of that fund needs to be verified. The owners of the fund need to be verified. Okay, what if I read in the paper some days ago that a particular country is trying to sponsor a minister to be president of Nigeria? Do you know what that means for us as a nation? It means a total hijack of our system. I don't know, they've come out to deny it, the embassy has denied it, the man himself has denied it. But what if it's true? If there is nobody checking the source of funds, and one country that has money to throw around decides that, okay, I want to pick up a candidate, you come, I want to sponsor you to become president. Do you know what it means for your president to be in the pocket of a foreign government? It means you're totally gone. So, anti-graft, if they have not done it, there is a need to integrate the anti-graft agencies into the processes. Form nomination, form purchase, submission, complete scrutiny.
So in this case, shouldn't there be a policy, maybe a bill passed by the floor of the House stating the exact process, especially checkmating the activities of political parties?
Who will pass such bill? The same people that are going to be affected? You haven't noticed what's been going on in your country. The same people who are going to be affected, they will not pass a bill like that. How many bills have been passed in the last 7 years to the benefit of the ordinary man, to the driver, to the Okada rider? How many bills? All the bills we see are the ones to try and protect them. Anti-social media bill, you must not criticize government, you must not post this. Those are the bills they've been passing. How many bills have been passed to ensure that for every campaign promise that is made, they become actionable if you do not follow them through? How many bills? So a politician will come here and shout, I'm going to install AC on your highway. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they keep giving all these same lies we've been hearing since 1985. The same thing that we've been hearing. I do not want to be too forceful this morning. So I'm trying to actually balance my anger with what the Nigerian people are feeling. 100 million naira for a form is totally ridiculous.
Okay, so looking at that now, 100 million naira is what you said is totally ridiculous. Even an update I have right now is despite the fact that the sales of forms should have ended yesterday by the PDP, it has been extended to Friday, the 22nd day of
it will also be extended again.
So let's see how that pans out for the PDP, because this is according to a statement from Debo Olajanagba, the NPS of the PDP. Some are actually saying this was necessary because we've seen some people who felt the time was too short, so they needed to raise funds to purchase the forms, despite the fact that the PDP's form was more affordable than what we see the APC projecting at the moment.
It is not affordable. 40 million is not here. For someone who truly wants to come and work for the Nigerian people, you do not have to waste such humongous amount of money purchasing forms. paying delegates. You don't. We should make our electoral system enticing for good people, for people who are not corrupt, for those who have not enriched themselves with public resources. Until that is done, until a lecturer who earns 350,000, who does not have mansions in Maitama and Asokoro, until such a man can walk into a party office, pick up a presidential form, submit it, and run for office, when we seclude this within a few people, my brother, where is the change going to come from? These are the same people that have been in the system for ages. The same names you heard in the last elections are the same names you're going to hear in this cycle. The same names you heard in 2015, the same ones you heard in 2017. See, we need to expand the frontiers. Let people with good intentions come in. What stops you from picking a form to run for House of Reps?
The amount, actually.
Exactly. Now you've been discouraged. Why? Because it's been commercialized. It's you might smile about it, but it is something that we will regret later in the future, because what it means that I have 4 years to look for money anyhow, because the next presidential form might be 200 million. So in the next 4 years, I need to look for 200 million naira by any means. So if the PDP, yes, 40 million naira is still better than 100 million naira, but even the 40 million naira is bad. It is bad. If you carry 40 million naira today, if you pick up that amount and buy a form, my brother, when you get into office with all the money you spend for your campaigns and the round tripping and going around the country, by the time you come into office, the next 1 year, you don't care about roads and hospitals and schools. You don't care. What you're going to do is to repay back those who sponsored you, is to repay back the bank loans or repay back the investors who invested in you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, and who suffers? It is the masses that suffer. Who becomes the beneficiary of bad governance? It is you and I. It is the reason why up to today, decades down after our democracy, we still do not have Abuja Lokoja Road pliable. Lokoja Okene Road pliable. Okene to Edo pliable. So where are all the billions? You ask yourself, if we do a forensic audit of every kobo, not the ones that have accrued through our oil sales, the ones that we have borrowed under this government, a forensic audit, every kobo that has come in from China, from the World Bank, from every money that has come in, let us determine where they went to. Are we going to have people still running or in jail?
Okay, before we open the phone lines, let's look at the soft land in the APC based on the fact that some have seen their forms as very expensive, 100 million naira. They've actually given a soft landing to certain categories of individuals, just like we saw with the PDP. The PDP, despite pegging the forms at 40 million naira for presidency and then other amount for other levels, it has been said for the youth about 25 to 30 or 35 should pay or would pay 50% of the amount of the expression of nomination form, which means if we have a person within this age range wanting to contest for the position of the president, you do not have to pay the 40 million. All you have to do is pay 20 million naira. And now let's look at this as opposed to what the APC has done. In a statement, it has been clearly stated that for every category of individual, whether you're youth, according to them, it's 25 to about 40, whether you're a youth, whether you're a woman, or even persons living with disability or people with disability, you have to compulsorily purchase the expression of interest forms. But for women, the nomination form is totally free. But for youth, you have to pay 40% less. That means they're giving 40% discount from what you are supposed to pay. Now, looking at it, the presidential ticket is 30. The nomination form is 70 million naira. The expression of interest form is 30 million naira. So if you're a young Nigerian between the ages of 25 to 35 and you want to contest for that position, you want to purchase the form within the APC, all you should have is you have to pay the compulsory expression of interest form, which is 30 million naira. And then you pay 40 million less of 70 million naira, which amounts to about 40% less of 70 million naira, which is about 32 million naira, which means you're paying almost 60 something or 70 something million naira just to contest for the position of the president. Does this not even disenfranchise the young people, Nigerians who would even have interest, and even women as well?
Let me ask you a question. How many Nigerians today, between those ages you mentioned, 25 and 35, how many of them are able to feed comfortably? How many of them have come out of the trenches? How many of them has the system helped to be who they want to be? Right? You're asking a man of 25 years who probably is still living with his parents to cover 60 something million just to buy expression of interest and nomination form, not delegates, not the settlement of delegates or the campaigns proper. See, young people are expected that after the NSAS movement and the agitation, that there will be a follow-up meetings and coming together to decide our fate in this country, our place in the scheme of things. Are we on the table? Are we seated at the table with decision makers, or are we on the menu for them to slice and eat? Why would you ask a young person to bring 62 million naira?
About 72 million, if you add that up.
Now, I think I mean, the issue is there is a total disconnect between the elite in Nigeria and the Nigerian people and the pains of the Nigerian people. A total disconnect. I'm not saying disjointed. There's a disconnect. When you say disconnect, there is no coming together. There is nothing connecting the aspirations of the people with the plans of the elite. That was why during NSAS you had them piling up and storing food, Indomie, at home when they should be giving them out. If you say a young person should go and bring 72 million, one of the aspirants who happens to be my friend in APC, Adamu Garuba, he came out.
Who went to Katampe Hill?
The one who went to Katampe Hill. What a very funny.
The center of the country.
What do you call it? No. That is display actually brought in memories. You understand? Very wrong memories. That wasn't. Anyway, let's leave that. It's not the focus of our discussion today, but it was a wrong thing to have done, especially when we only see such when Abubakar Shekau and all the rest want to stand behind the forest and be talking to us about people they've kidnapped. That wasn't really so smart. But coming back to this, I heard Adamu Garuba yesterday. Adamu Garuba, I hope I got his name right. I saw his tweet yesterday, lamenting.
He said 100 million naira for phones. Wow.
That's and number one.
Nigerians are saying that was siren. He had to blow siren.
Number two, I saw where he wrote and said every Nigerian youth should see themselves in him, and that this money excludes a lot of people and the rest. I don't want to talk about what he has done in the past to disconnect himself from the Nigerian youth, especially during the NSAS, during the ban on Twitter and all the anti-people policies of this government. He's done a lot to identify with the government against the people, right? That's why if you look at almost all the comments under his tweet, they were almost 90% negative. If he was a young man who had identified with the people at it, because see, this government, no matter how close you get to them, you will get burnt. There's no way. The government does not care. The only person that this government cares about is not the 200 million Nigerian people. It is only one person, President Muhammadu Buhari. If Buhari today says he doesn't want so and so thing to go like this, that's the way it goes. Adamu Garuba complained. A lot of people will give up on their aspirations, either to be governors, because you're asking someone who wants to be governor to go and bring 50 million naira only for form. Let me take an example of Abia State. There are 1,700 delegates, right, to choose a governor who will be governor in that state. I'm talking about the PDP, right? If you are to give each one of them 1 million naira, which is the system that we have adopted, which is the unfortunate system that we have adopted, delegates are part of the problem. Because if you as a delegate this APC convention that is going to come up, their primaries that is going to come up, delegates are going to be swimming in money. I don't want to talk about what I know, information that I have already, credible information. They are going to be swimming in money. We can only appeal to them. Why they are giving you money, why the different aspirants are giving you money, remember that diesel is going to 1,000 naira a liter. Remember that a bag of rice will cost 50,000 naira by December if care is not taken. Remember that a dollar is now 590 naira. That is the only thing that we can do. But you see, the Nigerian delegate in the two party structures, they are not helping matters at all. So even if a young man struggles to get 72 million naira, he has to now factor in the thousands of delegates he has to go and take care of, that they will now nominate him as the candidate. How is that possible? The whole system is skewed against young people and skewed against those who are not ready to stain their hands.
Okay, so quickly before we open the phone line, let me just pick your brains on a few things before we move on and then get our callers to call in, because I can see the phone line buzzing. Let me talk about insecurity. You have been very, very vocal about the spate of insecurity in the country. For those who have been following your thread on Twitter and all you get to post about insecurity lately and all of that. So looking at what is happening in the country right now and going into elections, it seems like a lot has been about electioneering period. A lot have been about the election and less of the protection, or less of governance and less of the protection of lives of citizens. The Minister of Transport during the recent attack in Kaduna called out the federal government, called out some of his colleagues as being responsible for what we saw, not giving approval for 3 billion naira, to create a railway surveillance system and all of that. We've seen the trade the trade of blame when it comes to insecurity in the country, but now less attention has been paid to governance. And now, is this going to an electionary season? A lot of people have questions. Will there even be an election, especially if everyone is so focused on election and less on the security of the same Nigerians who will come out in mass to vote the electorates come 2023?
Let me say that I've never seen a government be so unserious, like deliberately unserious about securing his own people. Deliberately. Let me put this out. I don't know if it's in public domain, but let me put out something that I know. When Jonathan was president, he engaged the services of mercenaries from South Africa, right? This was the one who were doing reconnaissance, being able to pick up our wounded soldiers. They had the capacity to go into any zone and pick up wounded soldiers, drop food for soldiers, be able to tell you, okay, see the way these terrorists are moving, see where they had the capacity to do it, right? They were engaged. And when Jonathan lost the election, I think they had about 7 months more to go. And I'm aware that of all the things that Jonathan did, the only thing he asked Buhari when President Buhari came in was, please maintain these people so that they can clear out these terrorists. And it was fine. Dasuki was retained as National Security Advisor, thinking, okay, he was in line with, since Dasuki was also involved in the whole arrangement. And few weeks into his administration, the mercenaries were sacked. Reliefs of their contract was cancelled. That's why we have this problem till today. Because if you look at it in 2019, in 2015, the election that brought in Buhari as president, elections were held everywhere. Was there a local government that election was not held in Nigeria? None. Today, you can't conduct election everywhere in Borno State. You can't conduct election everywhere in Nigeria today. So, whether it was to spite the former president or it was out of ignorance or something, but the president has not shown enough commitment that the protection of lives and properties of Nigeria was paramount to him. Why do I say this? For every mishap, for every attack, for everything these terrorists, in fact, the Aso Rock tried to brand terrorists as bandits. We started hearing them saying these kidnappers are bandits. How do you scale down on their names, their identity? How do you start calling them bandits? These are terrorists. Bandits do not have land-to-air missiles to shoot down planes. No, those are not bandits. Those are clearly defined terrorists, right? Now, what they do is they no longer attack soft targets going to the market. How many markets have you heard that they went to throw bombs? What they do now is attack military formations, go to our barracks, go to our police stations, attack them, showing that they are now in charge, showing that we have lost the strength we used to have in the past, where, how dare you, soldiers mounted roadblocks everywhere, but now they are even scared in their own barracks. So security has totally collapsed in Nigeria. When I mean totally collapsed, security has totally collapsed in Nigeria. Was it not 2 weeks ago we heard that in Abuja here, somewhere in Cuba, that bandits were moving house to house, that they even kidnapped a traditional ruler here in the FCT. What could President Buhari have done? It took him long enough. In fact, it took a lot of us writing petitions to the UN, to the National Assembly, before Buratai was relieved. Even after his tenure was supposed to have expired, it was still extended. Under this, the kind of mess that governance has become under this government is something that can only be imagined. Now, the same National Security Advisor since 2015 is the same person still there today, and security has broken down, and you cannot deem it fit to find someone intelligent enough to help you mitigate the loss of lives.
Okay. Before we open the phone lines, and now quickly let me ask you this one, and I will be expecting a very short response to this. Let me ask you about your opinion of the vice president contesting the position of, you're also vocal about it. I saw what you posted. And I felt I was going to bring that here so I can actually get your opinion on that live. Not you tweeting now, but you talking about it.
The truth of the matter is, there is no one we can deny the right to contest. That will make us dictators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, your right to contest should also be weighed on the morality of that right. Okay? The morality of Nigerians passing through what they passed through in the last 7 years, and then those who are part and parcel of the same government, the same people, are also boldly coming out to say, we want to extend your suffering, Nigerians. We want
the vice president said he's here to consolidate on the development of this administration.
Whatever solution any of them, and I'm not limiting this to the vice president, all the people in the cabinet, including the leader of the APC, they said now they have solutions to Nigeria's problems. What happened to the last 7 years? Are they fighting Buhari? Are they enemies to Buhari? Why have they not provided solutions to Buhari to actually execute? Why did they wait for us to be in this state before now coming? Were they praying Buhari to fail? Because I don't get it. The government you brought in, the government you supported, the government you're part of has failed. But you feel you have solutions. So if you're okay, let us agree. What they are saying is that they all agree with us, the whalers that they called us from the beginning, according to Femi Adesina. So they have agreed with us now that their government have failed. If we are on the same page on that, then let's now look for solution. But for now, we cannot say anybody should not contest. But the morality of you coming to campaign to me.
So you mean the vice president and every other member who are cabinet members of this administration lack the moral stand to even contest in the first place?
Please, they should contest.
Is that what you're saying?
They should contest. The Nigerian people will need the money that they want to bring for the campaign. People have suffered enough. All of them should contest. But it is for us, it is for you and I to educate the voters, to let people understand that, see, it is actually easy. It is easy to overturn a government that is not working. It's very, very easy. Okay. Very easy.
Anyway, let's open the phone lines right now. I can see the phone lines buzzing. Please, we have less than 12 minutes to take the call. So for every caller, you have just 30 seconds to make your submissions. After 30 seconds, you are automatically timed out. So in case your lines get dropped, do not call back, and just know that I wasn't the one that timed you out. The lines timed you out. 30 seconds is all you have. 08130 111 724 08130 111 724. Go straight to your opinion, 30 seconds, and that's it. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Olajide. 30 seconds is all you have, please.
It has been a while. God bless you people. Hello, can you hear
Yes,
me?
go ahead. We can hear you. 30 seconds, please.
I hope the analyst in the studio, I hope he's a PDP member. If he's a PDP member, I clap for him. I hail him. That is what we expect him to say. He's a PDP member. If it's not a PDP member, if it's just analysis, I will advise him to join PDP or join another party. Complaining about nomination form in APC. Is the only APC party we have in Nigeria? We have other parties. Let them go there and collect the party ticket free and contest and win. That is the simple truth I want to say. They are complaining about this money. Well, is there any political party member in Nigeria that is a financial member? This money is what they are going to use in finance the party. They are going to conduct election or primary in May 31st. About 30 something, about 5,000 delegates. How much are the parties going to spend on these delegates? What is the cost of participating in this primary? What are we saying? The motor you buy 25 million naira in 2015, is it the same money you are buying it? He said that in 2019, was there anywhere in Nigeria that was election was not conducted? In 2023, in now polling booth, there will be election. And if they are saying there is no election, they are still saying, are they saying that the party they say is a fake? Should that party continue? What do we want, sir? God bless Nigeria.
Well, thank you so much, Olajide, saying there has been inflation. So it is expected that there will be also inflation in the prices of nomination forms as well as expression of interest tickets. Harry Shield, it has been inflation. You actually clearly mentioned that a bag of rice was clearly sold for about 5,000, but now it's about 30, and all of that. So if there has been inflation in the country, is it not expected that there will be inflation in the cost of nomination forms as well?
So what has the government done about that inflation? Do you know what it means for a family of maybe 4 or 5? I was reading a friend's comment some time ago. A man whose wife just gave birth came knocking at his door by 5:30 in the morning, and when he opened the door, the man just laid down and said, "Please let me wash your car for you." The man said, "What happened?" He said, "My wife just gave birth." Gave him the hospital doctor's number, showed him pictures, and said, "Please let me just wash your car. I'm not asking for money. Give me food. Let me take to my wife in the hospital." This is the level they've reduced the Nigerian people to. We have now become a people that there's a video, 14-year-old boy, 13-year-old boy who wants to do Yahoo. Why? And their parents are buying laptops for them. People have been reduced to the level of shamelessness because they need to survive. You're a journalist. If I don't know how much you used to send home from your salary in the past, but it can't be the same today because it's either you reduce it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you used to earn 100,000 in the past, in 2015, that 100,000 naira today is less than 35,000 naira in value. We cannot as a people continue. Listen, it will get to a stage where you and I see how clean you're dressed in your white shirt and see how beautiful she is looking. We will not be able to walk on the streets anymore. The people who own Nigeria, who don't care about PDP or APC, they will storm the street and tell you people enough is enough.
Okay, let's take this. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Eric. Please, 30 seconds.
Good morning to your guest. Just a quick one. It is outrageous. Some of us, we expect that if APC should be selling their nomination form for 100 million naira, we expect people like President Muhammadu Buhari to caution them. Because when he was coming in 2016, he told us that he didn't even have the money to cut the form, that he took loan or some people got it for him, whichever one. But for them to put it at 100 million naira, 1, 2, 3, 4, 200, 100 million naira, and somebody is coming to justify it that we should join another party. Is APC proving to us that their accounts have stolen, so their members now have money to buy from? Because when they are in opposition, imagine APC in an opposition and PDP paid their nomination form for 100 million naira. What would APC say? The whole of the world will hear about it. And sometimes the members of the party that are supposed to speak the truth to the party will come on radio and be justifying it. Who brought the inflation? Is it not the same APC people? Is it not the same APC or President Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Okay,
thank you.
It's Nigerians that I pity, I'm telling you.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric, for that particular one. You pity Nigerians for all that is happening at this particular time. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Okay, please, when you call, ensure you move away from your radio set, and you have just 30 seconds to make your submission so we can give room for others to make their submissions as well. We have less than 4 minutes. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Kindly turn down the volume of your radio set.
Hello, good morning, John.
Yes, good morning. Turn down the volume of your radio set. 30 seconds, please.
I have done that. Here, I just want to use this forum to express and tell Nigerians that they should be calm. The die is cast. Do not bother yourselves about the millions of naira placed upon purchase of the nomination form and the rest of it. These are not important again. I thank God for one thing, Nigerians have come of age. We are simply waiting for other political. APC is not the only political party in Nigeria. PDP is not the only political party in Nigeria. When these political parties must have actually done their own primaries and things like that, let me tell you, Nigerians are wise. Nigerians are wise. So when you begin to talk about mistakes and things, Buhari did not do it, they did not do that, this will tell you exactly the kind of person in the present administration. They will tell you one thing and do the other. People will come to the radio and defend something that is atrocious that is done by this present administration, will defend it to the letter. Who are these people this whole decision? But I tell you one thing, be glad. Do not expect a shock and expect about this. Just stay on, and then people are out.
Thank you so much. You'll be timed out shortly.
That's my advice to Nigerians now.
Thank you so much. Good morning, sir. The money to purchase form is too much. Imagine buying a form for 100 million and you expect the person to enter office, and be honest, it is not possible. The first thing such a person would think is to make that money back. Okay, thank you so much for that particular message, although there's no name. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, welcome.
Toga from Kubwa.
Okay, Toga, welcome. You have 30 seconds, please.
I'm in agreement with your guest in the studio. They have spoken the mind of well-meaning Nigerians. And the APC and PDP are not the only political party in Nigeria. I think we should look for alternative. This time around, even the one with Crystal as a small political party. If they can bring a credible candidate, I advise every well-meaning Nigerian to queue and vote for such a credible candidate. May God bless Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, Pastor Toga, for that one. He's saying Nigerians should actually look for a credible alternative aside the APC and the PDP. We'll take two more calls and then we'll wrap off this morning. 081 301 724 081 3011724. That is the number to call to be a part of Bright Republic this morning. Remember, you can also go straight on Facebook and drop a comment on our Facebook live stream. We will also read your comment that you get to drop there. 08130111724. Facebook, it is at Bright FM Abuja. Hello, good morning to you. Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Please do well to call us right back. Okay, it's 28 minutes past 9 o'clock and my producer is looking at me right now telling me, Simeon, it's time for you to say your byes. But I wish I could take this call right now, but I must say thank you so much for all our amazing callers for calling in on the show this morning. So quickly, before we go, Prince Henry Shield, your last words, especially when it comes to the 2023 elections. What should Nigerians look out for during the next elections?
Words to voters. First of all, go get your PVCs. Then number two is, can you still remember how much you were paid in 2019? I'm sure you cannot even remember how much you collected to vote for wrong people in 2019. The money is gone, but you and I are beneficiaries. We are now victims of the wickedness of that action. So in 2023, when you go to the polling unit and they bring their money, If you want to collect their money, but make sure you vote for someone who can pull us out of the mess that we currently are in. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, Prince Henry Shield, for coming through this morning. Henry Shield is the head of Mission Nigeria Leadership and Accountability Initiative. He will be here some other time as well. Hopefully, if he's a very busy person, we just have to drag him here today. Thank you so much for being a part of Bright Republic. And of course, tomorrow is the last edition of the show for the week. I must say thank you. See you tomorrow. Obi of Sport coming through with Bright Sports right about now.